Shalom, welcome to Rob on the Rock. I'm Rob Vanoff, and for this week's Torah portion, Miqetz, it starts with Genesis 41, and we're going to be looking at this fragment from Cave 4 at Qumran. And you see we've got two good lines here in the Hebrew, and they're broken off, sadly. But what we'll do is look at the English translation, and I have the bold section, and we'll go back and look at that. So Joseph then answered Pharaoh. This is verses 16 and 17 of Genesis 41, saying, "It has nothing to do with me. God will answer the peace of Pharaoh." And so what we're going to see is this, I have will twice there, but God will answer the peace of Pharaoh. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "In my dream there I was, standing on the bank of the Nile, and behold, 7 cows, fat and fine-looking, came up out of the Nile, and they grazed in the marsh grass." So what we're going to do here is go back and just look at the Hebrew here of our ancient manuscript. It's an ancient fragment here. And one of the big words I hope you see right off the bat, even if you're just learning Hebrew, is right here. I'll circle it. Can you tell what that word is? Well, let's write it out together. Do you know what that is? That's a sheen. And then we have, let's do that better here. Do you know what that is? It's a lamed, vav, and then a mem sofit. So that's our word, shalom. Shalom. If you got that already, good for you. That's the word shalom. And what we see here is ya'aneh et shalom. So yod, ayin, nun, hey. Now remember, the hays back then often looked like what we would think of as a chet. We would write it now, yod, ayin, nun, hey. Ya'aneh, he will answer, is what it says. He will answer. And then we have an aleph and a tav, our direct object marker, aleph, tav. That looks pretty close to what we would write today. Can you see that et here? Aleph, tav? They kind of touch. Aleph, tav, like that. Ya'aneh et shalom. And then we have the beginning of the word Pharaoh. So it's pei, and then part of a resh. And then there's going to be an ayin, and then another che, like that. So it would look like this, Pharaoh. So of what we have at this line, there's no difference from the Masoretic text. Ya'aneh et shalom paro. God will answer the peace of Pharaoh. Ya'aneh et shalom paro. Look at your English translation. Sometimes they change the word. They won't even use the word shalom. They'll say, God will give Pharaoh a favorable interpretation or something like this. But the basic Hebrew, ya'aneh, that means God, because the word Elohim is before this. Ya'aneh et shalom. He will answer the peace of Pharaoh. Or he will answer Pharaoh with peace, or something like that. So that's this section here. We'll answer the peace of Pharaoh. It's kind of a weird translation. It doesn't sound right in English, does it? And then we're going to look at this line here. We see the word al. So ayin lamed. Here's another ayin. So we had one up here, ya'aneh. And then another lamed. So both these lameds have that nice tall neck that sticks out here. That's the word al. So remember, Pharaoh says, if we go back and see, he says, there I was standing on the bank of the Nile. So on the bank of the Nile is this phrase here. Hopefully I'm not making you dizzy. Al is upon. Sifat, it's seen, pei, tav. Now, the Masoretes would put a dot on the left side there for the S sound. But back here, back in time, the Hebrew readers knew that even though the same character is written here and here, let me erase that. So it's the same character. It's a sheen. But they're going to pronounce this one up here as shin, right? Shalom, so with the dot on the right in the Masoretic tradition, whereas Sfat, they're going to pronounce it with an S sound because they know the Torah, they know the word, they know how to spell it. It's also, we see that like with the name Israel, Israel, right? We write it like this, Yod, Sin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, Yisrael. But you don't need that dot to know, you see it and you know it's Israel. In the same way, if I say Yerushalem or Yerushalayim, you see this letter here and this letter here are the same. But in the second word, I see it and I know, oh, that's Yerushalem or Yerushalayim. And so that's part of that cultural back understanding that we need. So, al-sfat ha-ye'or. So here we have hey. Now, you might not have known this. This is an aleph partially broken off. It's hey, yod, aleph, resh. Ha-ye'or is the name of the river. The word Nile is not a Hebrew word, right? The word Nile is a translation. Excellent. I believe it's from the Nilos, it's from the Greek rendering of the name, but it's Hayor. And then we have the beginning of Vehine, Vav, He, Nun, and then there was probably another He here, but it broke off. Vehine, and behold. I'm going to add the exclamation mark there. But that's, Pharaoh says, I was standing on the bank of the Nile, and behold. So, vehine. So when it comes to letters, let's just kind of review what we have here, what we've seen. Again, nothing in these two lines is different from the Masoretic text. We have, let's see, yod. We have a yod here, and we have a yod here. So two yods. We have an aleph here, and we have a partial aleph here. So two alephs. We have, do we have a bet? No bet. Gimel, no gimel. Dalet, no dalet. Hey, we have this hey here, and we have the vehine, we have the hey here. Oh, and we have partial hey for hayor. So 3 different heys. You can see the letters that we have. We already talked about, the tav here, and then we have one here. So these are the same letters. Of course, the 2 sheens. We have one nice mem sofit right here. It goes way down. And of course, we have 2 different pays. And pay is great. It's great to see pay because sfat right here, because it seems to be a rarer letter to have an accounting of 2 ayans, right? We have an ayin here and an ayin here. So this is just getting used to the scribe. But I just want to go back and look at that word shalom, that lovely writing. Normally in Hebrew today, we would write it, everything would be the same, right? Shin, the lamed, of course, would go up, but all the letters would be kind of along the same height right here. But that's not the way the scribe thought of it. This scribe was happy to make that mem sofit drop really far. And oops, I just really like how this lamed goes way up, and then that goes way down. It's a word shalom from Cave 4 at Qumran. So it's 2,000-year-old fragment from Genesis 41. Hope this was enjoyable and educational for you as you continue to explore with me the world of the ancient Jewish scribes. Shalom.